Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Ask Julie Ryan show. I'm Julie, your host, and I'm so delighted you could join us this week. My intention in doing this show is to provide information, insight, and comfort to people all around the world by helping to answer life's unanswerable questions. And it's a wonderful day here in Sweet Home, Alabama, because my baby, Prince Jonathan, the center of the universe, flew in from LA this afternoon. He's here on business for a few days, and I am one happy mama. And the other reason I'm so happy is two of my best girlfriends are coming in tomorrow, one from Columbus, Ohio, and one from Louisville, Kentucky, because I was given some free tickets to go to the Talladega NASCAR race. The Talladega racetrack is about 45 minutes from our home, and it's a big deal in the racing world. And so the only caveat is I told him if it's raining, I'm not going. So it should be really fun. And I've been to other races, but usually horse races, but I've never been to a NASCAR race. So, I think I should go once. And I thought, who will go with me? That would be just a blast. So we will do our best to stay out of jail while we're out there. I don't think we'll probably get arrested, but should be fun. So I'll have some reports for you afterwards. Everybody, I wanted you to meet an extraordinary young gal that I was just on her show. Her name's Lauren Grace. Lauren, welcome. And
hello, Julie.
She is in Australia, you guys. And so she's 16 hours ahead of me here in the Central Daylight Time Zone. And I asked her to be on my show just to introduce her to all of you. And she's going to be asleep when I do my show at night. So we're pre-recording this after we just finished recording for her show. So Lauren, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. And hello.
Yes. And tell everybody where you're from and where you are now and the story about how you got there.
Most wonderful stories are all love stories in a way, or at least that anything good is on a love frequency. So basically, I'm from Whitehorse, Yukon. It's in northern Canada. It's about 20 to 25 hours drive north of Vancouver, just to give a little bit of context. And basically, I am in Australia and I came here for love. So I reconnected with my soulmate after quite a few years of separation, and we fell in love again. And about 8.5 years ago or so, reconnected and then relocated to Australia, which is where I am now. And I'm now an Australian citizen as well. So they kind of call that a Causie, which is like a Canadian Aussie. But then I told somebody that one time, I said, "Oh, I'm a Causie," and then they said, "Yeah, but that's also a bathing suit." So maybe I'll just continue to go with Canadian and Australian. Yes. So that's how it started. Gosh. Pretty simple like that.
25 hours north of Vancouver. So did you grow up at the North Pole? Do you know Santa and Rudolph and all those guys?
You could say that I do. Yes, the Yukon is an amazing territory, and it does sort of feel like that, although it's not quite as far north as the North Pole. But it's just a beautiful, beautiful part of Canada, and definitely grew up in the mountains with a lot of snow. And it's quite funny. My parents will sometimes send me videos of them snowshoeing, or look at this, huge amount of snow that we received, and then I'll send them shots of me swimming around in the pool or at the beach. So it's pretty wonderful. I love the heat. So that's one of the reasons why I've chosen to live in Australia and to stay here, is because I love the sun.
Right. Me too. That's why I live in Sweet Home, Alabama. Well, Lauren's a businesswoman, everybody, and now has gone into the woo-woo space, kind of like we share that businesswoman background going into the woo-woo space. Please tell everybody what you're doing and how you made that transition and all of that.
Yeah, no problem at all. So, to cut kind of a long story short, because I know that, as we get older, we have all these different things that we've done in our lives. So, a couple of years ago, I did work for myself. I had my own events company, production company. I was doing a lot of radio and things like that. And over the last, basically up to a year ago, I started working for a company here in Australia. And I was made redundant last year through COVID, which I know is not a unique story. There are a lot of us that were made redundant. But I guess that when I was
Which
made redundant
means
from that
you were
position,
laid off in American terms.
oh yes, sorry.
You were laid off.
Yes, I was laid off from a job that I had been in for almost 5 years and really enjoyed and loved going to work every day. And I was really sort of taken aback by that. I didn't expect something like that to happen at that time, but I think that your listeners will maybe enjoy this. A couple of weeks before I was made redundant, or before I was laid off, I remember saying to myself in my head and to spirit, how am I supposed to get my business, which is Raw Consulting, like cheerleader, rah, RAH. How am I supposed to get that off the ground properly? If I'm working 45 to 50 hours a week for this other business, and bam, 2 weeks later, I was laid off and made redundant. Now, one of the cool things I think about life, and I don't know if this has happened to you, Julie, but very often when we've got a breakdown, there's also a breakthrough, or when there's a challenge, there's also a silver lining. We don't always see it right away. Very often it's in hindsight when we look back in the rearview mirror, we go, oh, that's why that happened that way. But the day that I got made redundant, a woman that I worked with got made redundant as well. And so she and I uplifted and supported each other through that journey. Now, she is a medium. And so around that time, I thought, you know what? I've been really wanting to start a podcast. I've been really wanting to do all of these things that I just haven't made time for, haven't had the right equipment, and, kind of been putting off. So what I decided to do, I'm a bit of a high achiever, want to do everything right now. And so what I did is I actually started 3 podcasts alongside running my Raw Consulting business. So I started the Raw podcast, which is Raw podcast, like a business podcast. Then I started the Afterlight, which is my spiritual podcast, which I was grateful, and I'm so thankful that you have just joined me on. And then also my friend and I started Business in the Front, Party in the Back podcast. So the reason why I'm bringing that up is just for the reason that I was sort of gifted an opportunity and somebody in the spiritual space to really kind of help me reconnect with my spiritual self. About 4 or 5 years ago, I had a bit of a mental, I don't want to say breakdown because it just sounds a bit more dramatic than it needs to be, but I allowed myself to get overwhelmed in my mind too much. And so I was taking theta healing, and I'd had my Reiki healing, and I was doing all this deep dive into spirituality, and I was just overloading myself, right? And my human brain was going, I don't know what to do. I cannot compute with this. So what I ended up doing was having to cut spirituality out of my life for quite a few years. And so what I did is I read Eckhart Tolle's teachings. I learned all about the power of now. I came back to presence. And then from there, I was able to slowly start. So getting back into the spiritual world really started when I kicked off the Afterlight podcast. And if I hadn't been laid off, it never would have manifested. And so it is now just such a gift. And yes, that's a pretty long story, but hopefully I summarized it okay.
Well, and it's such a great example of taking a situation and trusting that it's all unfolding perfectly, and it's moving you forward in ways oftentimes that we can't even imagine. And you're looking back and you're saying, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that that happened. And what a concept for that as well. So what do you do now? I know you have a coaching business. Tell everybody a little bit about that.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess what I'm doing now, Julie, is I'm allowing spirit to guide me a little bit to be of service best of my abilities. So I do have a business background. I've worked in, a variety of different industries for over 15 years. One of the things that I recognize that I'm really good at is coming up with innovative solutions and motivating people and holding people accountable and cheering them on. From a very young age, I always knew that one of the things that I wanted to do was to help people to connect with their own inner power. And I think that that we can do that through self-love, through positive mindset, through being aware of our thoughts, and essentially starting to reprogram our mind to live the life that we want to live. So I'm doing business mentoring, which is it's sort of in the sense of like bringing in some of the woo-woo if my client wants that, or else just sticking to the business side. It really just depends. At the moment, I'm working with entrepreneurs who are running their own business, but I'm also working with service providers who are employees and who are really trying to find ways to carve out time for self-love or self-awareness or self-care, or to work on their time management or learning to say no. That's actually a big one. A lot of people don't know how to say no, or setting goals and then trying to find out how to achieve those goals. So those are some of the things that I do. One of my passions as well is actually time management, because one of the things that we know is that, yes, time is maybe a fabrication. We've kind of used it in our human world to make sense of things, but time is the one thing that is a commodity that we can't get back. And so I feel that if we're able to manage our time wisely, if we're able to do the things that we want to do, you and I talked a little bit off camera about the power of audiobooks and how you can listen to a book and you can do other things, essentially maximizing your time. So one of my passions is time management. So I've also created a free masterclass where I actually teach people how to say no to requests that don't serve them, how to start creating space to stay on task so they can actually focus on the things that they want to do, not the things that they have to do, how to stop overextending without feeling guilty, because I think that's what a lot of people struggle with as well, is, oh, I've got all these commitments, I don't want to do them, and I feel guilty if I don't. And so I cover all that off.
Terrific. Well, how can everybody find you? Tell everybody how they can find your show and how they can find you for your mentorship program and your time management program.
The best way to find me is actually just to head to my website, which is rahconsulting.com. That's RAH consulting.com. You can also find me over on Instagram and on Facebook. I've got lots of free trainings on there. The Rah podcast, RAH podcast, can be found wherever you get your podcasts, and so can the Afterlight podcast. So if you want to hear Julie and our amazing conversation, I'd really encourage you to check out the Afterlight podcast. I also speak with a lot of other guests on things like the Akashic Records, A Course in Miracles, past lives, Reiki, herbal concoctions, and things like that. It's all happening there.
All right, terrific. And everybody will post the link to the interview that Lauren and I just did for her show on all my social media. So Lauren, thanks so much for joining us, and everybody check her out. We'll be right back and we will get to some callers. So stay with us. All right. Our first caller is Patty. Hi, Patty. Hi. Miss Patty, are you there? Oh, there you are. Okay. Hi, Patty. You told me before we went on air that you're in the emergency room. So I said that puts you to the head of the line. Tell everybody where you are.
I'm in Queens, New York.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Queens. And what is going on?
I had
What's going on? Why are you in the emergency room?
3 weeks ago, I had COVID. Then right. The last few days, I've been coughing a lot.
Mm-hmm. And that made you go to the emergency room because you've been coughing a lot?
Yeah, because I had Easter Sunday, I was diagnosed with pneumonia, early stages.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And so are you having trouble breathing? Is that why you're in the emergency room?
No, because I have...
Oh. I can't hear you, Patty. Say it again.
My blood pressure is high. Can you hear me?
Okay. All right. I can now. Yes. So Your blood pressure's high. All right, let me get you on my radar real fast and let's see what's going on. Everybody listening, for those of you that are first-time listeners, I raise my vibrational level to the level of spirit.
Oh, okay.
I watch a laser beam come from my body here in Birmingham, and it's going to hook into Patty up in Queens, New York, and I'll have a hologram of her in my mind's eye, and then I'm going to envision shooting energy from her feet up through the top of her head, and it'll be like I'm looking at an X-ray or a CT scan or an MRI. So, Patty, here we go. Here comes my laser beam.
I just want to let you know my blood pressure was 191, and they took another blood pressure. Now it's 150.
Okay. Now it's what? 150?
Area. I'm in a closed area that you can't. The phone reception is not good.
Okay, I'm going to put you on mute. You'll be able to hear. So I'm going to scan you real fast and you'll be able to hear. Okay, hope you feel better. Okay. So I've got her on my radar and going in. So what I'm doing now is I'm lowering the inflammation in her lungs. Your lungs look really inflamed, Patty. I'm getting you still have pneumonia. So I think that was a good move to go be seen. And they're going to put you on another round of antibiotics and you're going to be just fine. You'll be just fine. So heal fast. This healing will help you do that. So thanks for calling in from the emergency room. That's the first time I've ever had that. My goodness. But that, like I said, that puts her to the head of the line when she's in the emergency room. Okay, let's go to our next caller. And our next caller is Neil. Hi, Neil.
Hi, Julie.
Neil, you got to unmute yourself. There you are.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
How are you?
I'm good.
Terrific. Please tell everybody where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Toronto in Canada.
Where you? Toronto. Okay. You got a question for me?
Yeah. It's about my father.
Okay.
So his name is Nilo, and he is 81 years old. He's due for cataract surgery on his left eye tomorrow. And then they also said that the right eye might also have to be done, but not tomorrow, probably in a later date, although he doesn't feel that there's something wrong with his right eye.
Okay.
So maybe, I don't know if you could help in a way that the surgery goes okay tomorrow, and then I don't know about the right eye that needs. Yep.
Absolutely. Neil, where's your dad live? Where is your dad?
He is in the Philippines, in Manila.
Okay. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to you, Neil, and then from you, my laser beam's going to head west, really far west, and get hooked into your dad. And then I'm going to ask his permission to scan him. And then I'll see if we can do a healing. And most of the time I do cataract healings all the time, so that when the person goes in to get it done, it's just a breeze. So here we go. Here comes my laser beam from Birmingham, Alabama, heading up to you in Toronto. Got you. Okay. It's heading west, really far. I watched this laser beam go across countries and oceans and in different directions, Neil. It's pretty fun to watch to see where it goes. Okay, got your dad. All right. I'm talking with your son, and he wants me to scan you energetically. Would that be okay? He's saying no. All right, let me say Philippines, he's probably Catholic, right?
Yeah.
So let me say that it's the Holy Spirit working through me and with me. Would that be okay? He said, well, in that case, all right, he's letting me in. I was inspired to mention the Holy Spirit, which is what I believe it is. I believe it's Spirit working through me and with me. But sometimes we need to talk in verbiage that they'll be able to relate to, right? So, all right. This is the left eye that's getting done tomorrow?
Yes, the left eye.
Okay. So I'm watching the cataract get removed and a new lens get put in, Neil. It's called an intraocular lens. And that is just looks like a contact lens. was in a whole bunch of those surgeries back in the day when I was in that industry. And it's been inserted. There's been a little stitch on the outer side of his eye, on the left side of his left eye. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and do the right one while I'm in there. Might as well, right? So yes. Going in, yeah, the left one's cloudier than the right one, but the right one's starting to cloud up too. So we'll just head that off at the pass. Getting that taken out, putting a new lens in, one little stitch. All right, now I'm watching the eyes get balanced. Did you ever have a car where you had to balance the headlights because they were either too low or too high? Are you old enough to have had a car when they used to adjust the headlights? That's what it reminds me of when I'm watching eyes and vision get adjusted. So that's happening. Okay, he'll do great. It'll be a breeze. He'll be in the operating room for less than 10 minutes. It'll be a non-event for him. He'll do great.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. So good luck to him. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you. Thank you, Julie.
Take care. Bye. All right. Let's go to Kaya next. Hi, Kaya.
Hi, Julie. I'm from Nacogdoches, Texas. Can you hear me?
Oh, terrific. Yes, I can.
Okay. I'm calling regarding my cat, Halo.
Okay.
She has...
I love his name. Is it a girl or a boy?
It's a girl.
Okay, great.
And she has like an ongoing condition of stomatitis, but lately she's had a flare-up of 2 weeks of diarrhea and upper respiratory. She's on medicine, but both of them are persisting. She's been on medicine for about a good 2 weeks, and she's just having a really hard time.
Oh, so they've got her on some medicine that's messing up her gut is what's happening with that. So I've got her on my radar right now. And what I'm watching is I'm watching her gut get all kinds of different, different ecosystem things put in, like bacteria and viruses and stuff like that to help the ecosystem in her gut get better. That will help her and help her immune system. So I hope she feels better, Kaya. Thanks for calling in. Everybody, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get some more callers on and see what their questions are. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show, so stay with us. Welcome back, everybody. Let's go to the phones, and our next caller is Linda. So, hi, Linda.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Hello. I am good.
Terrific. So please tell everybody where you're calling in from.
Levittown,
where are you located?
Pennsylvania. Levittown,
say it again?
Pennsylvania.
Levittown. Okay.
Yeah. And my 3-year-old grandson had severe, seasonal allergy reaction with his eyes the other day. And I was wondering if you had any suggestions. They already have them on, over the counter, 24 hours, I think Zyrtec or something like that, and drops in the nasal. But his little eyes, it was just, ugh.
Oh. What's his name, Linda? Steven. Okay. And he's 3?
Yeah, little blonde hair, beautiful, blue-eyed boy.
Okay. I'm going to connect to you and from you to Steven. So here we go.
Okay.
Here comes my laser beam from Birmingham up to you in Pennsylvania. Okay, got you. And from you to Steven. Steven, I'm talking to your, what does he call you?
Mama.
To your grandmother,
yeah,
Mama.
Mom. M-O-M. Mama.
Mom.
Yeah.
Scan you energetically. Would that be okay? He goes, okay, like that. Okay. So what? He's dark. Let me get in there. Was he out playing outside, or Where was he when his eyes started getting irritated?
We were out, and then for like 2 hours, the last 45 minutes, the wind blew up, and they were all running it, and his little eyes just swelled up and just like almost closed.
Yeah. What I'm getting is some kind of pre-emergent that's been sprayed on the grass, and the spray that comes. They do that before.
Yeah, this is
before
like
the weeds come up, or they're trying to keep the weeds.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it was a pre-emergent, like a Roundup or something like that, but maybe not necessarily Roundup, but something along those lines. And that's what's happened.
Like a little park that the city takes care of. Okay. Wow. Because we had been out the day before.
That's what was going on. Yeah. So what I'm doing, Linda, is I'm doing a healing on him while I have him on my radar, and I'm removing the chemicals out of his little system. And that's why he had such a big reaction, because he's in an immune response anyways with the allergies. That's why he's on the Zyrtec and stuff. So it doesn't take much to just really set him over the edge. It's kind of like pouring water in a full bucket already. And then what I'm doing is I'm removing heavy metals. I always see heavy metal particulates when somebody has been exposed to some of those chemicals. So I'm removing those out of his system as well. Just get him to drink a ton of water, and it'll help flush it out of his system. So this will help a lot.
His sister,
Thanks for calling.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
No, it's fine. Tell me about his sister.
His sister had nothing, no reaction.
Did she get off?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. But is his sister on Zyrtec too? And does she?
She had nothing happened to her. She was fine.
Okay. So, yeah. But does she have allergies normally?
Yeah. She doesn't, but he does.
His little system.
But that kind of makes perfect sense. And I kind of feel like asking the town what they use. I mean, this is a park where people go, like little kids and everything like that. So thank you very much, and God bless you. And you have a wonderful gift. Wonderful gift.
Oh, thanks. I hope he feels better.
And I love listening.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, take care. Bye-bye. Okay, let's go to Cheryl next. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. Cheryl, are you muted? Can you unmute yourself? Okay, well, let's go to Stephanie and see if Stephanie's there. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Julie.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Terrific, thanks. Where are you located?
I'm in the Sierra foothills in Loomis, California.
Okay, yeah, I know it. It's beautiful.
It is.
Wonderful. Well, you got a question for me?
Yeah, starting last September, I've been really good. I keep a really good diet, but last September, I just started eating whatever I wanted. Gluten, cheese, sugar, the whole thing. And then a few weeks after that, I started experiencing some really bad symptoms. I'd had vertigo and like a lot of zapping and electrical feeling in my body. And so I really went back on the clean diet, and I noticed a big difference. And I noticed there's certain foods, if I would eat them, or supplements, that my body would react again negatively in the same way. So over time, I've slowly gotten better. I'm just concerned because I had a bunch of x-rays. We were in a car accident and an MRI, and I don't know if that has anything to do with my sensitivity. And I'm a little concerned about my kidneys. And when I got my hair colored, and I had kind of a setback with that. So I'm just wondering what you see.
What happened when you got your hair colored?
Well, like my tongue gets really dry, and I feel tired, and I just don't feel well.
Okay, hold that thought. We're going to take a break, and we'll come back to you after the break. Stephanie, everybody, you're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan show, so stay with us, and we'll come back and talk some more to Stephanie from California. Welcome back, everybody. Before the break, we were talking with Stephanie from California. Stephanie, you still with us?
Yes.
Good. And you were saying that you were in a car accident and you had an MRI, but that you haven't been feeling well since?
No, actually, I really did improve a great deal. I just wondered if having several x-rays and an MRI maybe affected my body and it made it weaker. So maybe I have some food sensitivities and my body was already weak from that. I don't know. I just thought you would want to know. And when I had my hair done, I did recently, I forgot to mention that I was just itching. Like I didn't see a rash, but I was just itching on my torso and behind my neck. I'm just
so you had a
really
reaction
sensitive
to that. Yeah. Right. Usually when our gut's out of whack, Stephanie, we're in kind of an immune, an inflammatory response, and our immune system's based in our gut. So let me get you on my radar and see what's going on with your gut.
Thank you.
You may want to try this gut biome test that you hear me talk about, and it's a fancy name for a poop test, and you can do it at home, and you don't need a doctor's order to do it. And it's going to tell you what the best foods are for you to eat and what the best foods are for you to avoid, some of which may be healthy foods, but they're just not healthy for you right now. So if you email me, julie@askjulieryan.com, and I will send you a link to that. But I'm seeing your body looks inflamed to me. And so what I'm doing is I'm getting that calmed down. So email me and I will get you that link sent out to you, and you can get that done at home.
Okay.
All right. Well, I hope you feel better.
Great.
The gut is really, that's just where our immune system's based, Stephanie, and it's that's usually the best place to start. And then that will help you feel better. And it takes care of a lot of different symptoms. People are surprised when they get their gut healthy, how the other symptoms go away, an awful lot of them.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Julie.
You are so welcome. Hope you feel better. Thanks for calling. Take care. All right. Let's see who's next. Let's go to Lori next. Hi, Lori. You got to unmute, girl. I'm unmuting you, and it's not working. For some reason, we're having a little bit of technical difficulty here this evening for some reason. So let's try somebody else. How about Arlene? Arlene. So Randall, can you unmute one, either Lori or Arlene, and see if it'll work from your end?
Stand by. Muted. Arlene, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
There you are. Hi, Arlene.
Hi,
You can hear me now?
I am.
Hi, Arlene. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties.
I know.
Where are you located?
It kind of always interrupts. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. I am calling from Longmont, Colorado. And I'm calling about my dog.
Okay,
Uzo.
terrific.
And he's 13. And he has arthritis in his front feet. And he has, we've had him in for a sonogram of his liver. And he does have some spots on it, but nothing that's cancerous. But I was thinking, if you healed his left hip, I mean, in 3 weeks, the dog who could not walk with his hip, it is great. It's never gotten worse again. You said he had a little dysplasia, and you went in and healed that. I was hoping you'd work with your magic on his feet and just scan him or ask him if there's anything he needs or any, if he's in pain anywhere. He walks about a mile a day with me and said he's just going a little slow because of his front feet.
Okay, that's where I already had him on my radar, and that's what I was going to ask you because it looks like his front feet, they look like they're crippled. Do they look crippled to you?
They just started getting that way. He gets acupuncture, but they just started, you can see them. The acupuncturist said to me, you see why he's walking, he's stepping carefully because they're starting to curl up a little bit. He was a hard
That's what I'm seeing.
player. He played very hard until about 6 months ago.
Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm getting the arthritis out of his joints and, all those little joints in the feet. You can imagine both in humans and in dogs.
Little. He's big. He's big, but
yeah. Well, but they're little joints in a foot of a dog. I mean, they're not like a knee. So that's what I mean. So I'm getting the arthritis out of those. And then what I'm doing is applying anti-inflammatory energy to them. And what I'm watching is I watched his feet get dipped in stem cell energy. It was like this vat of stem cell energy, and I saw his paws get dipped in there. So there's a vortex above each paw, and it's spinning, and that's helping to recreate the bone structure. So what the crippled part, it's like it's smoothing out into a regular foot now. If that makes sense. Makes sense. That's what I'm seeing.
How's his left hip looking that you fixed a few months ago?
Oh, let's see. Left hip looks okay to me. I'm watching him walk. Back feet look okay. It looks like it's just the front feet that are affected to me right now, which is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, only the front, but he always played very hard. And he looks okay. Otherwise, there's nothing that's bothering him. I can't communicate. I try, but.
Yeah. His spirits and his body, he looks good. He looks good. And his feet, you'd imagine his feet were crippled and then they just spread out into normal looking feet. That's what I watched happen. So whether they do or not, doesn't really matter. What matters is what we want to be concerned about is that he's not in pain. So
that's my big
that'll
thing.
Be a good
it
thing.
Looks like it when he steps. Like he's never walked slow like he's walked slow in the last few months. And you can see the way he steps on those front feet. Like I'm walking on a bunch of rocks. So I said, well, he peeled the left.
I love it. Hip. What kind of dog is he, Arlene?
He's a blue Merle Australian Shepherd.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. All right. Well, I hope that helps.
Thank you so much, Julie.
Okay. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. Thanks again.
Okay. Take care. Bye, Arlene.
Bye.
Okay. Randall, can we go to Bill next, please?
Bill is live.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, Bill. How are you,
Got
sir?
a dog issue also.
Ah,
Can you hear
okay.
me?
Terrific.
Rocky.
Randall, can you mute Arlene, please? Okay.
Okay.
Great.
It's my
Rocky.
My dog, Rocky.
What's going on with Rocky?
He developed a sudden severe limp in his right rear leg about 3 days ago, And I don't know whether he stepped in something. I mean, I was walking with him, and it was sudden all of a sudden. So I took him and to the veterinarian. He said he's got some laxity in his ACL, and he's got some arthritis in that joint. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just not 100% sure what's going on, and see if you could check in and see if you can help him.
Sure. What kind of dog is he, Bill?
He's a Rottweiler Coonhound combo. About 90 pounds.
Wow, that's an interesting. Okay.
Laid back dog, really.
Coonhound. The coonhounds. They look like that movie Sweet Home Alabama. They had a coonhound and they called him Bear after Bear Bryant. I think is what the coonhound was in that. How funny. All right, so here we go. I'm going to connect you and from you to Rocky. And here we go. Please tell everybody where you're located, too, please.
In Wilmington, North Carolina.
Okay. All right, so here we go. Okay, got Rocky. Okay, right rear leg is the one that you're saying is an issue? That's where the energy went. Is that what you told me? Right rear leg?
Yep.
Okay.
That's the main issue.
So he's kind of holding. Yeah. Is he holding it up when he tries to walk? Yep. Like he can't put weight on it very easily? Yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Okay. What is. Right. You know, I mean, it's one thing to limp. It's something else to hold it up because it's so painful. Have you looked at his paw?
He has atrophy on that side.
Bill?
Huh? I did, and he's.
Have you looked at his paw?
Yeah, and we didn't see anything.
There's something with his paw. It's his paw.
The right rear paw?
Yeah. There's something on his paw. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. I'm going to hold you over for the break, Bill, and I'll check on him during the break. We'll see what we come up with. Stay with us, everybody. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Before the break, we were talking with Bill in Wilmington, North Carolina, and we were talking about his dog, Rocky. And Bill, what I saw when I was scanning him over the break is he stepped on something and his back right paw, left of center, looks like it has a huge bruise on it. I'm not seeing anything in his paw, but it's very bruised. So when you touch it, does he recoil like it's bothering him?
Somewhat, yeah. But that's what I'm seeing. I saw the vet really palpate all over that area, and he was fine with it, though. Yeah,
that's what I'm seeing. It's in his paw is what I'm seeing. So I hope that helps, and I think it's going to heal.
Okay, great. Any arthritis in that leg?
Yeah, there is. I can clean it out, but this is not from that. This is from his paw hurting.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm getting that removed, but this is a paw thing. And if I divided right down the center of his paw, as I'm looking at it on the top of his paw, it's left of center, kind of in the middle almost of his paw.
Interesting.
So I looked for something sticking in his paw and I didn't see anything, but I could see that it looks like a big bruise there. So he probably stepped on something. You know, it could have been anything, like a little stone or a screw or, something like that. I mean, really, there'll be some random bolt on the road or something or in the grass and we can step on those.
Exactly.
So I hope he feels better. Thanks for calling.
Thank you very much for scanning him. I really appreciate this.
You're welcome. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's go to Daisy next. Hi, Daisy. I'm going to have Rent. There you go. Hi, Daisy.
Yes, I'm calling from Ocala, Florida. And I can really use some stem cell energy on the lower back. That's hurting a lot. And the cervical.
Oh.
give me a hard time again.
Okay. All right. So here we go. I'm going to connect to you. All right. Got you. You look twisted, girl. What you been doing? You look like you've been doing the hula hoop or something.
I feel so much better after I get the treatment with the stem cell energy for a while. And then any little thing just sets it back.
Yeah. All right. So I just watched you get adjusted, just watched a chiropractic adjustment happen. And now what I'm watching is the vertebrae get all lined up. You had a little bit of a bulging disc on the left. So I got that back in. There's a little bit of netting that's on there. That's over the vertebrae that from the top versus the bottom. So I'm watching that. And then putting anti-inflammatory energy on you, which is a royal blue color, to get it calmed down. So hopefully that will help.
And I also got the stem cell energy.
Stem cell energy's in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I put it in your whole skeletal system, up your spine and everything. So the big thing is you're twisted.
For a while.
Good. Yeah, you're twisted. You look like a twisted sister.
I feel twisted and inflamed and in pain. But every time you treat me, it gets better for a while. And then I get it back. So thank you very much.
Well, just keep doing it. You're welcome.
Yes, thanks a lot.
Better. Thanks, Daisy. Bye-bye. Okay, let's go to Alex next. Hi, Alex.
Hello. Hi, Alex. I kept dialing in on the wrong access code. So I kept thinking you were having problems a week ago.
Oh, heavens. Well, here we are. I'm so glad that it worked. Welcome. Where are you located?
I just want to thank you so much. I did a session with you, just letting everybody else know. And I am so grateful for that session. And the whole reason here is just to express my gratitude for you for all that you do, because doing this for everybody has to take so much energy out of you. And thank you for giving of yourself to us.
Oh, you sweet thing. Tell everybody where you're located for me.
I am in West Valley, Utah, just a suburb of
Utah. Actually,
absorbed city from Salt Lake.
Yeah. It does not wear me out. I mean, physically, when I'm on the phone all day with clients and then I do 2 or 3 hours worth of office work after I get done with about 5 clients a day. I mean, I'm ready to not work at that point, but it energizes me, Alex, because I'm at such a high vibration when I'm talking to people and communicating with spirit and spirit working through me and with me. And it's really a joy. It's a lot of fun. It's actually the most fun thing I've ever done as far as work. So I appreciate your concern, but it's really such a blessing and a joy. I get to talk to people from all over the world, and I talked to somebody from Dubai yesterday and from Russia today and Canada and gosh, where else? And all over America, certainly. So it's really fun to get to meet all these people and help, hopefully in just a minute way, to help them with whatever, if they've got a medical thing or if they've lost a deceased loved one, or they got a dog that's got a sore paw, they can't figure out what's going on, things like that. So did you have a question for me, or you just called in to be my PR agent, which I appreciate?
Listening, and I appreciate the show and hearing what goes on with others, and all that you do for our little animal companions and our relatives and us. And I just wanted to say thank you and show my appreciation.
Oh, well, thank you. You just made my whole day. You and my baby being home, my almost 29-year-old baby. But, He's always going to be my baby.
And it doesn't matter.
Well, thank you.
110.
Thank you so much. Exactly. That's right. So thanks, Alex. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Kelly next. Randall, please. Yeah, well, I guess we're going to go to break instead. So Kelly will get you on the other side of the break. Stay with us, everybody. We'll try and get these technical issues straightened out during the break. And when we get back, we'll get more callers on. So you're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan show. Stay with us. Welcome back, everybody. I think we've got our technical difficulties figured out. My man Randall, the man behind the curtain, I tease him. I tell him he's my right arm, and he knows all this technical stuff, which is way above my pay grade. So thank you, Randall, for helping with all of that. We do this show every Thursday night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and 5 Pacific. The call-in number is 712-775-7035, and the access code is 483620#. Now, this information is available on my website at AskJulieRyan.com and in the show notes anywhere that you download podcasts. And we're on YouTube and Alexa, as well as live stream of AskJulieRyan.com and on the radio stations. Please remember to subscribe and leave a review at ratethispodcast.com/Julie. Again, that's ratethispodcast.com/Julie. And you will be entered to win a free session with me, which is worth a couple $100. And we'll have an hour to discuss whatever you want. And we can discuss as many things as you want as time allows. So I can scan you energetically. We can scan your dog. We can talk to your dead grandma. We can do past life stuff. We can talk to your angels and your spirit guides and deceased loved ones and whatever. It's really fun when we have that time together. Call-in details can also be found on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest. Everything's at Ask Julie Ryan. And a reminder to call in, we post on the day of the show with all the call-in information. While you're on my website, AskJulieRyan.com, be sure to sign up for my weekly newsletter. It's a question somebody's submitted, and then I answer it. And of course, we put all the call-in information on the newsletter email each week too. So I'm trying to make it easy for you guys to call in. And if you call in and I don't get you that week, call in the next week, because I always have more callers than time. I do my best to get as many people on as I can. So what else? You can schedule an appointment with me at AskJulieRyan.com. And then, like I mentioned, we'll have a whole hour to talk about whatever you wish. And by the way, the secret is when you go ahead and get on my calendar, if you want a private appointment, get on my calendar. I'm booked out a couple of months. And then you're going to get a confirmation email. And on the email, it's going to have a reschedule button. Periodically, when you think of it, click on that reschedule button and it will show you if earlier dates and times have become available. This week alone, I've had 2 people get in the next day because they clicked the reschedule button and they were booked out a couple of months and they got in the next day. And it was really fun for them that they got that. And I think as of today, there have been 4 people rescheduled this week alone. So it really does happen. It's just luck of the draw. But when you think about it, you're being guided. Check it and see what happens. And then if it doesn't work, then we'll talk whenever we're supposed to. And everybody that I talk to that's been waiting for a while says to me, yeah, I scheduled it a couple months ago. And the reason why I scheduled it with you is no longer a reason, but I've got something else going on that's even more pressing. So I trust that it always works out the way it's supposed to. So everything you need to know is at AskJulieRyan.com. Okay. Let me put my glasses on and let's see what the question from this week is. Marcy from I don't know where, just Marcy asked, "Hi, Julie. I saw your presentation for helping parents heal. Luckily, I've not lost a child. I'm agnostic and watch a lot of these videos to learn and grow. You described the energy fields of the body being like saran wrap and holding the spirit in. I'm an autopsy assistant and have often thought the body looks like it's held together by cellophane. I've also thought how amazing it is that we don't fall apart being held together by a thin membranous cellophane. And that's the energy field membrane that I see looks like really thin, stretchy saran wrap, the kind you get on a tray of chicken breasts from the grocery store. You know how that stuff's thinner and stretchier than maybe the Glad wrap that's in a box in our kitchen drawers. Marcy went on to say your description of what you call the energy field membrane struck me as such a similar comparison to what I observed that I felt urged to connect with you about it. Please explain once again how the membrane ruptures and causes an energy leak that inevitably contributes to poor health. I'm going to explore your site and learn more about you. The way you describe healing the body resonates with me, and I'm eager to learn more. Have a great day, Marcy. So here's my response. Hi, Marcy. Thanks for watching my Helping Parents Heal presentation. What a terrific service that organization does to comfort and inform parents who've lost a child. Thanks, too, for your comments about what I call the energy field membrane. It sounds like we're sensing the same thing. The energy field membrane is the container that holds the energy that makes up our body and spirit. And it's my perception the body is inside the spirit, and the spirit is the power source for the body. That's why when a person dies and their body and spirit separate, the body doesn't work any longer. Now, as many of you know, I went through 12 years of Catholic schools, and I was taught that the spirit is someplace in the chest, like the upper chest area, but that's not what I perceive since I started doing woo-woo. What I perceive is the body is inside the spirit, and the spirit's the main part of us. That's what some people call their aura, the energy field membrane. And so it's all holographic, but as I perceive it, the body's inside the spirit. I went on to say, if you think about it, all energy used to power something specific, like a body, needs to be in some type of container. Electricity is contained in wires, natural gas in pipes, and a body and spirit are in an energy field membrane. When I see, in my mind's eye, a tear or hole in the energy field membrane, I envision going into the opening and I'm shown a scene of an emotional event that's occurred either in this or a past lifetime. I'll be given specific information such as when, where, and some details about what happened. It could be something relatively minor or something tragic, and it doesn't matter whether or not my client remembers the event. The experience identified as caused an energy block to form, and other life events energy has piled on top of it, causing enough pressure to create a rupture in the energy field membrane. Energy leaks always precede any kind of medical condition and are caused by an emotional event. Once the cause of the energy block is illuminated, it's immediately eradicated and the membrane instantly heals. This allows the body to return to operating on full power, thus helping the person restore and maintain health. To learn more, please consider enrolling in my Angelic Attendant training. You'll learn how to do, among other things, energy healings, communicate with spirits and angels, do past life scans, and communicate with and heal animals. It will also greatly enhance your life and the lives of everyone you encounter. So, Miss Marcy, what a great question. I love when science catches up with woo-woo, and I love that she sent in that email to me to tell me that she was sensing this energy field membrane that I talk about all the time. And I wasn't taught about that. That's just come in on my own over the years as I've worked with really tens of thousands of people. I'll scan for medical easily 3,000 people a year, easily. And I always see the energy field membrane. And oftentimes that's the most important part of a healing, because we can fix body parts all day long. But if the body's not working on full power, my feeling is, why bother? It's kind of like when you take your car in because it's not working properly and they say, okay, you need a new radiator, and they put a new radiator in and then you got a dead battery. So the car is still not working right. So why bother with that? But the energy field membrane healing, and I don't have time to do it on the show much, but I always do it in a private session. I believe it's the most important part of a healing. And the things that I see when I go into that tear or hole can be something simple like in 1963, you were 3 years old and somebody called you a bad name and it hurt your feelings. And you think, well, that's no big deal. But it was a big deal to your 3-year-old little self at the time. And then the most dramatic thing I've ever seen is I have a client who lives in the UK, and she lives on one of the northern isles in the UK. And I saw this scene of her as a preteen, and there was an explosion behind her. And I said, does that mean anything to you? And she said, yeah, I was a victim of an IRA bombing when I was 12, and I was in the hospital for 3 months. And I thought, okay, that clarifies and qualifies as an emotional event, certainly, and a dramatic one at that. But I'm not going for the biggest thing that's happened in your life. I'm going for, where did that block start? It reminds me of a little kernel of unpopped popcorn that gets into the energy field, and then other life events pile on top of it and causes enough pressure over the years that it causes that membrane to rupture. And then there's an energy leak, usually for a long time. Most people over the age of about 15 will have an energy field membrane leak, and it always precedes any kind of medical condition. If it's a past life situation that's going on, I'll be given where it was, when it was, and a little bit about what happened, and then we'll correlate it with what's going on in the person's current life. Earlier this week, I had a gal as a client, and she had a big rupture. It looks like somebody had shot a bowling ball from the inside out, the hole in her energy field membrane. And I went in, and it was a past life situation, and I got the year. I don't remember what it was. It was a long, long, long time ago. It was BC, actually. And I got that it was Mesopotamia. And I couldn't remember what current day countries made up Mesopotamia back in the BC days. And so we were both Googling it while I was getting this information. And we got that there was this scene that had happened near the Nile River. And I said, I don't even know if the Nile River flows through those countries. So again, we looked it up online, and sure enough, it did. So a lot of times we can get information that corroborates the information coming in about past lives. And that's really fun. So energy field membrane. Just teaching you all a little bit about it. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll get more people on and see what their questions are. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. Welcome back, everybody. Our next caller is Miss Kelly. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Julie. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm calling from Delancey, New York, which is just west of Albany.
Okay, terrific. How are things up there? Did you get some of that snow?
Yeah, we had snow today. It's very cold. I'm ready for spring.
I bet. Spring was just teasing you, and then the snow came, right?
Yeah, and I'm actually signed up for your training in July, so I look forward to working with you.
Yay! How fabulous! Yeah. You are gonna buckle up, girl. Your life is gonna it's just gonna be enhanced in ways you can't even think of. It's everybody that goes through that says that. Yeah, wonderful. Well, terrific. Well, look forward to that. I have my last class of the group that's in there now, the spring group, on Saturday. And then we'll have you in July. So how fun. Yeah. Terrific. Yeah. So, well, you got a question for me?
Yes, I'm calling for my mom. Her name is Doreen, and she lives in Bonita Springs, Florida. And she's had 3 back surgeries over the years. The last one was a spinal fusion, and she lives in constant pain daily. So I'm just wondering, I talked to her. She said it was okay if you could scan her to see if there's anything you could do to help her, because right now it's just basically pain management.
Oh, heavens. How young is she, Kelly?
She's 72.
Oh, that's young. All right.
Yeah.
So here we go. I'm going to connect to you in New York, and then my laser beam is going to ricochet. It's going to go back my way and hook into your mom in Florida. So here we go. That's how it works. Do you know what tiddlywinks are? The game tiddlywinks. Have you ever seen that? It's like a round block with holes in it, and then you put sticks in it, and then you can make, it's like a spoke and wheel thing.
Oh yeah.
That's what it reminds me of when I'm connecting to somebody, is I'll see kind of a spoken wheel situation happening. Okay. So got that, heading back down here towards Florida. Okay. Got it. Got your mom. Okay, Doreen, I'm talking to Kelly. Is it okay if I scan you? Yes. Okay. So going in, would you say she's got scoliosis in her back?
It was herniated disc, and it just continued to get worse. And after 3 back surgeries, they did a spinal fusion. So she has pain radiating down her legs and arthritis. Her back is in a mess.
She looks like looks like it. Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like she's got scoliosis going on too. So I'm straightening out her spine so that it's not curvy. What I'm doing energetically, Kelly, is I'm cutting, imagine a 3-sided rectangle. So the side that is open is out from her spine. So I'm making this space where they did the fusion, and we're going to use stem cell energy to put some new discs in there. Okay, so it's like I'm cutting into the fusion to make the space where the discs originally were, where the vertebrae, had a space in between them. So I'm doing that, and there are 2 on each side, spaces that have opened up. So 3 vertebrae, low back are in play here. Looks like her left side was worse than her right to me of her back.
Yeah.
So is that what showed up on the scans, that there was more of an issue on the left side? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I'm seeing. So what I've done is I've made that space, and then I'm putting stem cell energy into all those spaces, those 4 spaces. Stem cell energy is the coolest stuff, Kelly, because it will regenerate any body part we need. And it looks like a light amber colored gel, has sparkles in it because, it's woo-woo, you got to have sparkles. And it has a watery consistency to it. And I always say it reminds me of Dippity-Doo hair gel when I was a kid growing up. That's just the consistency of it. So I put dollops of that in all of those cavities that have been made. And then there's a vortex spinning above her spine, and it's spinning very fast. And that centrifugal force is going to regenerate that disc material. In the meantime, what I'm doing, Kelly, is I'm putting this little netting at the end of all of those new discs that are being generated. And it reminds me of that really thin netting that you'd use to get a goldfish out of a bowl, a fish bowl, or out of an aquarium. And that netting is stretched from the upper vertebra to the lower vertebra in those 4 spaces. And it will keep that disc in place. Today I had a client I scanned this afternoon, and I had done that healing on her a couple of years ago, and that netting was still in place. So it's really interesting when I go back in and I see that it's still in place. Okay, I'm doing that. I've applied anti-inflammatory energy. That'll hopefully get the inflammation down. Let's work on her sciatica real fast. Sciatica looks like a tube that goes down the back of the leg. The left side looks worse than the right. Is that true? Is that where the pain is on the left side? Going down the left leg?
Down the leg. Yep.
So imagine it's a tube, and when it's been injured, it looks black to me, or dark brown. A normal sciatica is just going to look pink and healthy. So what I'm doing is I'm tunneling through the inside of that nerve. Imagine it's a tube, and imagine there's a little teeny tiny corkscrew that's tunneling inside there. Because what happens is it gets dead cells in there and other debris, and then it gets clogged, and the impulses, the neural impulses can't go through. And it's kind of like, have you ever had one of those grill lighters that's a big thing with a long neck on it, and you're clicking it and it's out of butane and it just won't stay lit? That's what it looks like to me with the electrical impulses that won't go through. So I tunnel it out. I've irrigated it. That's really fun to see because the irrigation fluid comes flying out the end of her toes. So it makes her foot look like a sprinkler. That's always fun when I get to see that. And then, woo-woo's fun. You got to have fun doing this stuff. And then I've put stem cell energy in there. That's going to regenerate that sciatica. And it's already coming online. So it's turning pink. So hopefully this will help. That was a really big healing in a short period of time. So I hope it helps. And I'll see you in July in the class.
Yes,
Yay.
thank you so much, Julie.
You bet. Stay with us, everybody. We're going to go to break. And when we come back, we'll get some more people on. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. Welcome back, everybody. Our next caller is Courtney. Hi, Courtney.
Oh, hi.
How are you?
Can you hear me?
I can. How you doing?
I'm great, thanks.
Terrific. Where are you located?
Walnut Creek, California.
Okay, East Bay.
Yeah.
Terrific. You got a question for me?
I do. My husband had a biopsy yesterday, and I would just love it if it's possible to scan him and send him some healing light and make sure everything's going to be okay. We don't know the results yet. And I don't know if you need to know what part of the body.
Yeah. What's going on?
It was in the prostate. They did a biopsy yesterday, so I just love to send him some lots of good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What's his name, Courtney?
It's Ted, like T-E-D, Ted.
Okay, Ted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to you and then from you to Ted, and I'm going to ask his permission if I can scan him. And if he says yes, I will. And if he says no, I won't. But we can still talk to his spirit and get some information from him.
Okay.
Did you clear it with him? Does he know we're going to be doing this?
Yes.
Okay, great. And he said okay?
Yes.
Great. Okay, here we go. Here comes my laser beam from Sweet Home, Alabama, heading west. Northwest. Okay, got you. All right, going to Ted. Got Ted. Ted, I'm talking to Courtney. She wants me to scan you energetically. Is that okay? Sure. He said, sure. Okay. Good job setting that up. Ted's going, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I don't believe in that stuff, but whatever, right? Yeah, I know. Okay, that happens a lot. Okay, so in the prostate looks enlarged. Yeah, I think he's got some malignancy going on there. Okay, is his PSA test out of whack? Is that why they decided to do the biopsy?
I think it went up a little bit. I think it went up the last last year. So they wanted to just double check.
Yeah, I see a spot on his prostate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop it out. I've encapsulated it. I've scooped it out of his prostate. He'd be mortified if he knew we were talking about his prostate like this.
Right.
and then I've removed it. And I'll put a little dollop of stem cell energy in there. And there's a vortex spinning above it. And that's going to regenerate his prostate. Okay, let's do a DNA healing on him really fast, Courtney.
Yay.
And I watch chromosome come out of his body. Boys have an X and a Y and girls have two X's. So I always see an X come out. And there are 3 strands of DNA that have popped out, which is good. Normally, if somebody's a cancer patient, I'll see 7. So there's 3. They look like pieces of paper you'd see in a fortune cookie with the fortune written on it. They have lots of letters on them. There is a combination of 4 letters, ATCG. They represent nucleic acids. And I'm watching those letters get rearranged. So it's like I'm watching somebody play Scrabble in warp speed with his DNA. And then when it's resequenced, if you will, then it snaps back into the X chromosome. First one's already snapped back in. A mutation in his DNA that's causing the cells to behave in a less than optimal way. So what we're doing is we're restoring that DNA back to its normal recipe, because the DNA is what tells the cells how to behave.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So got that going on. Have him just really concentrate on his immune system. Does he take D3, vitamin D3?
D3, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How much is he taking? You want him on 8 to 10,000 IUs.
I'll double check that.
Okay. Yeah. Beef it up if he needs it.
Okay.
That'll help a lot. So the third strand just went back in. That's back in his body. I've shot energy from his feet up through the top of his head. So hopefully that will help.
Oh, thank you.
You are so welcome. Good luck to him. Let us know what happens.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. And you may want to consider scheduling an appointment, and then we can really do a deep dive, and I can have him for an hour, and we'll just go through the whole. We'll give him a full tune-up. Okay.
I love that.
All right. Thanks, Courtney. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye. All right. Let's go to Jeff next. Hi, Jeff.
Hi. Hi, Julie.
How are you?
Doing okay. I'm calling from Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Okay, terrific. Did you guys get any of that white stuff up there?
Different parts of the state, yeah, it was real spotty. Some areas had 5 inches of snow, and some areas didn't get anything.
Oh my gosh! How about you? What happened with you?
Where I worked, I had snow, and home nothing. So.
Oh, isn't that wild? Interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, good. Well, do you have a question for me?
I do. We've been struggling. We lost our 24-year-old son about 16 months ago, and just.
I'm sorry, you cut out. Say that again, Jeff. Jeff, you cut out. So say that again.
We lost our 24-year-old son 16 months ago, and.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. We've been starting with that, and just a couple of questions we've had. We're just wondering if there's any way that if you could connect. We're wondering if anyone was with him in spirit when he passed, and he died in such a tragic freak accident, and he was by himself when he's passed. We're just wondering, was that part of his soul plan? What was it his time? And I don't know if you can help us out with either of those questions.
Absolutely. Jeff, what's your son's name?
Austin.
Okay. And how did he die? What was the freak accident?
Hypothermia.
Oh, goodness.
He got,
okay.
Yeah, he took an Uber ride home, and they dropped him off at the wrong house, and he ended up getting lost and wasn't dressed for the weather.
Oh, heavens. I am so sorry.
Yeah, and he tried,
so.
Yeah, he tried to get in houses, and some people didn't let him in, and cars drove by him and didn't stop. So it was just like everything that could go wrong went wrong.
I'm so sorry. Okay. So, yes, he was surrounded by deceased loved ones and angels and the spirits of deceased pets when he passed. Everybody is. If you email me, Julie at AskJulieRyan.com, I will send you a copy of my book, Angelic Attendants, and it will tell you what happens as we are dying, and whether we die instantly, like a case of a homicide or suicide, or whether we die over days, weeks, months. Everybody goes through what I call the 12 phases of transition. And you can see that on my website, Jeff, AskJulieRyan.com. If you click on the 12 phases, you'll see what the configuration is. So there's that. More importantly, when he got to heaven, there was a welcome to heaven committee there of lots of loved ones and, deceased relatives and people he would have recognized their spirits. And then what was your other question about? Was it part of his soul plan?
Yeah, if it was his time to go.
my experience with that over a lot of years, over several decades, and working with many, many families who have a loved one who's passed, is we all decide when we go, where we go, and how we go, and what the situation is, and whether or not anybody's with us when we go. So it's been my experience that's different from a lot of schools of thought, Jeff, that we come in and we have a certain date and time that we're going to exit. That's not what I perceive. What I perceive is we all decide, and it goes based on what's happening and when we're ready to go. So I will see people that are in the different phases of transition, and sometimes they decide to stick around. And so they'll go backwards in the phases, because there's 12. 12 is you're being escorted to heaven by angels. Doesn't get any better than that. And your son was escorted to heaven by angels. So we can talk to him. Do you have a couple of questions for him? He's standing right next to you to your right.
I don't know where to start. I just have so many questions.
Yeah.
We just love him, miss him so much. He was such a great kid.
I know. He's talking about red birds. Do you have red birds in your yard that you see? Cardinals? That's what I call them, cardinals. Red birds. He says when you see a red bird or red birds, he sent them to you because they stand out so much in the winter and also just in the foliage. You can see that bright red. So he's saying he's not the bird. A lot of people say, well, there's a cardinal that comes to my house and it's my grandmother. No, it's not your grandmother. Your grandmother maybe sent it to you. And that's what Austin's saying. He sends you red birds to let you know he's around you. And he's telling me to remind you that it doesn't have to be an actual bird. If you see a cardinal in a magazine ad or on the side of a van or, something like that, on a piece of jewelry or something, that think of him because he's sending it to you. So email me, julie@askjulieryan.com, Jeff, and I'll send you a copy of my book. And hopefully it will help comfort you and your wife.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Thanks for calling. Stay with us, everybody. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan show, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. I have a special treat. Look who's joined me in my recording room, the center of the universe, my son, Jonathan. So he is in from LA. Say hi, honey.
Hi.
Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
And he landed from LA this afternoon, and Tim went and got him. And when he came in, I cried. He said, "You don't have to cry." I said, "Well, I'm just so excited to see you." So I asked him to stop by because I talk about him all the time. And I thought you guys would like to see how cute he is. I mean, not to embarrass you or anything, honey. So
I've never done it before.
Never embarrassed you before. Well, I usually don't embarrass you.
Never.
No. I know, exactly. So I thought it would be fun to ask you what it's been like for most of your life to live with a mother who does woo-woo.
It's been great. There are pros and cons to it. It's great whenever I don't feel well or any of my friends don't feel well. We can ask you what's going on, or if we want to divine something from the future, we hope that you get it correct. But the cons were, I never was able to sneak a sick day because you could tell what was actually going on with me, which is not ideal for someone trying to stay home from school. So,
that's right.
But generally, all good things.
Yeah. One of my favorite stories was when you were going to go to the University of Alabama and wanted to room with your best friend, Garrett.
Yeah.
And Garrett already had a contract for his apartment. And I'll let you finish the story.
And I was dreading it and worried that it was never going to happen. And you, for some reason, always knew that it would. And it did.
That's right. He kept saying, Mom, you don't understand. Garrett's got an agreement and it's already signed. He's got a lease and he's already signed it with somebody else. I said, honey, I'm just telling you, you're going to live with Garrett and it's going to work out. And then he would get so upset with me, you guys, that he'd go, Mom, you're not listening to me. I said, well, really, I am. And I'm telling you, it's going to happen. And then sure enough, you got to live with Garrett.
That's happened a lot.
Yeah. What's another example of something? Can you think of anything?
Too many to count.
Well, I know when you were in college and there was a tornado that came through and really leveled some things in Tuscaloosa, and we were texting back and forth, and I said, honey, I think you need to go get shelter. And you were watching TV. Do you remember that story?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, tell everybody about that.
Well, we were watching the news and they were saying, oh, it's not going to be that bad. Don't worry about it. And I kept getting texts from you saying, no, you need to go. You need to go to the rec center. You need to go now. And we're like, yeah, whatever. And then I think the bottom fell out and we took our cars as boats to the rec center and just barely missed it. So, yeah, as usual, you were correct.
I know. I love it when he tells me I'm right. Yeah. You know, all you moms out there, wouldn't you imagine that it's great when you hear that, from one of your kids? I'm trying to think of some stuff when you were little. Yeah, he would come downstairs in the morning and he wouldn't be in the mood to go to school. And he'd say, Mommy, scan me. My throat really hurts. And I'd say, yeah, you're fine. You just need to go.
Post nasal drip, I could have gotten tattooed on me as a grade school student.
I know.
Yes.
I know. That was fun.
I think it was more contagious than you thought, but
yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. So I would get texts from his friends, and I still do. Oh, yeah. I get texts from his friends that have been in his life for a long time, and they'll say, Miss Julie, this hurts or that hurts. Can you scan me and see what's going on with that? And so now what we get to do is we talk about things that are career related and other bigger things in life and get guidance from your spirit guide. Remember the first time we did that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we talked to your spirit guide and you ask very pointed questions. I feel like an interpreter when that happens.
Yeah.
Anything that you want to share about something that's come up about guidance that we've gotten from your spirit guides?
No, I think it's a big reason for where I am, where I am. I think you mostly, but the spirit guides have provided a lot of, help and clarity throughout all of it. They still are.
And specific information, too, that really surprises us when it comes in. So those of you that are thinking about taking my class, not only is this helpful for people that you don't know, it's really helpful for family members when you do know that. And what else would you like to share? Anything?
That's it. I'm proud of you for this show and everything that you're doing, and your technological savvy has gone through the roof with all of this. And no, it's been fun to watch. It's fun to continue to watch.
Yeah, and I'm so appreciative of everybody that listens to the show and that calls in and takes the time, to join. And then all my graduates, my gosh, we're about 130, 140 people have been through the training, and what a remarkable community of people. It's really been a fun thing. And you're used to me being an entrepreneur, so you've seen me. I do have to tell you one funny story. This is one of my favorite stories. A couple of Christmases ago, I think, Tim, my husband, and Jonathan went over to save seats during church. And because it's always a mob scene on Christmas Eve, all the families are there with their little kids. And Jonathan's used to me being an entrepreneur and I think outside the box. When you agree?
Yes, that's one way of putting it. Yeah.
He says, if I see a sign that says "Do not enter," I say, "Oh, I want to see what's back there. Let's go back there." And he'll say, "Mother, it says do not enter." He's a rule follower. I'm a rule breaker. Anyway, so Christmas Eve, a couple of years ago, he went over with Tim to save seats. Then I came in my car, and Jonathan was coming back to the house with me. And we're walking out of church, and he said to me, Did you make your own parking space? Do you remember this? Mm-hmm. I said, Why would you ask me such a question? Why would you ask me if I made my own parking space? What's up with that?
Because you did.
Because I did. Yeah. But what I did was I parked in the loading dock of the school, of the parish school. And I thought, what truck is going to be delivering to a school that's out of session for 2 weeks because it's Christmas? And so we got there and he was just dying laughing and he was saying, see, I knew you did. I knew you'd created something along those lines.
And I was right.
And you were right. And it was really a good creation, don't you think?
Sure. It was creative.
It was creative.
That was it. Yeah.
So he gets to live in LA and we get to go visit him. And Mallory didn't get to come in this week, but he'll be back in June because he's in a wedding. So thanks for joining me. Thanks to all of you for joining me as well. Hope you have a great week. I'll send you pictures from Talladega.
Be sure to follow Julie on Instagram and YouTube at Ask Julie Ryan and like her on Facebook at Ask Julie Ryan. To schedule an appointment or submit a question, please visit AskJulieRyan.com.
This show is for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be medical, psychological, financial, or legal advice. Please contact a licensed professional. The Ask Julie Ryan Show, Julie Ryan and all parties involved in producing, recording, and distributing it assume no responsibility for listeners' actions based on any information heard on this or any Ask Julie Ryan shows or podcasts.